We know the State House and Senate were not interrupted. They still convened this afternoon. The National Guard and WSP are still standing by until there's no more risk to the Capitol or anyone in Olympia. Mayor Kawash has been in State Capitol since yesterday. He continues our live coverage.
Aaron, Nia, overall, Washington State Patrol tells us today was a good day. That's because the State House and Senate were able to convene without any disruptions. That was the overall goal today. There was a small group here earlier this afternoon. They were more so protesting the state's pandemic response rather than any election results or anything else like we saw at the nation's capital last week. Now, they were also upset about these buildings here in Olympia being closed. They called themselves conservatives, and they said they deserve access to those buildings. Meanwhile, Washington State Patrol said they were going to do whatever it takes to keep those buildings protected, as well as everyone else here at the Capitol. Threats of armed protests and unrest force Washington state leaders to amp up protection on the day lawmakers open the new legislative session. At the direction of Governor Inslee, 750 National Guard members filed into Olympia this morning, helping Washington State Patrol fence up and lock down the Capitol. But one protester wanted to see for himself, walking into the restricted area despite knowing he'd be arrested.
When I heard that our military and our police force was going to be used to keep the people out, I had to come see it for myself.
Kelly Stewart is a Washington state leader of Ammon Bundy's People's Rights Organization. That far-right organization is known for its views against this COVID-19 pandemic. Stewart says closing the Capitol building is another sign of government overreach because she wants to hold lawmakers accountable.
I want to look my legislators in the eye. I want them to see the people sitting there witnessing the session. I think that that is the only thing that is going to preserve our constitutional republic.
State leaders disagree with that sentiment, as all parts of the legislative session are available to the public online. People can even testify from their own home. But having to stay home this year is another reason these protesters showed up today.
You are destroying families out here!
WSP doesn't mind if today's safety measures are seen as excessive. Spokesman Chris Loftus says last week's attack on the nation's capital served as a wake-up call.
It just means we're in a different place. We just have to recognize that. 911 was another event of that nature. We had to change the way we worked in airports and our travel. This is going to be an event that's going to change the way we manage our government facilities.
Now, WSP and the National Guard tell us they will be here until there is no longer any risk to the Capitol or anyone else in Olympia. Now, earlier today, we have heard that 2 people have also been arrested, one of which is now facing 2 charges because after they arrested him, the one that we showed you just in that video right now, they actually just found out he was the same man who trespassed on the governor's mansion property last Wednesday. He'll now face 2 charges, one of which is criminal trespassing. We'll have more live updates for you coming up tonight at 6, and I'll have another state lawmaker telling us how different this year's state legislation is.